Hello and welcome back. Before I begin, I'd like to give a big thank you to my newest set of subscribers, 3998464, Sleep to Be Pretty, EF, 22 Owl 2, and Magnus Carlson. Thank you all so much for subscribing. I really appreciate your support. And as always, this is going to be a haul from the Book Thing of Baltimore, which is a wonderful nonprofit that gives out free books every weekend and also takes donations of unwanted books. And you can find out more about them at www.bookthing.org. Oh, but in case you're curious, I'm not, I don't really have any association with the Book Thing unless, I know I sound semi-official in my little intros, but I just have been going there for, gosh, 8 years at this point, and I'm just a huge fan. So, just in case you were wondering about that. And once again, someday, I really want to get back to that week a couple months ago when I only got 10 books. That was just the best feeling, to get 10 really great books and not be wondering where am I going to put these things. But this is not that week. But I got a bunch of really, really cool things. So, on with the haul. First, I got The Diary of a Country Parson, 1758 to 1802 by James Woodford. This was published by Oxford. So I have a feeling perhaps if I were English, I would be like, James Woodford, that classic memoirist or diarist. But I, in fact, have not heard of him, but I'm very interested in social history in the 18th century, and so am really excited to have a primary source. And then I got The Sisters by Robert Littell. Robert Littell is one of the preeminent spy novelists, and I have yet to read anything by him, but I really want to read some of his work. He's supposed to be great, and I have a little confession to make. When I work at the bookstore, I'm in charge of our mystery section, among many, many other things, which basically I'm in charge of keeping the inventory and getting good titles in, that kind of thing, and monitoring what's selling. But every once in a while somebody will just call me up front, because I usually work in the back office, because somebody has a question about mysteries. I don't really read a lot of mysteries. I mean, I read some mysteries and suspense and thrillers, but really in very specific niches. So it's always a little awkward, and I have begun pretending to have read Robert Littell. Just if people say, I love Charles McCary or I love John le Carré, I'm like, you gotta read Robert Littell, you gotta read Legends. Legends is the best book ever. Because my boss is a big fan of Robert Littell, and he's really into espionage fiction, and he loves Legends. So, anyway, but I figure I really do at some point need to actually read some Robert Littell, so I'm stocking up. And then this is cool, and this actually does not really count toward my total. This is Slam by Louis Schreiner. And Louis Schreiner wrote a wonderful novel called Deserted Cities of the Heart, which was kind of positioned as a fantasy novel, and it has the barest traces of sort of a slipstreamy type fantasy. It's really just a great novel about these people caught up in a war-torn South American country. And that's the only one of his I've read so far, but this is another one. This is about skateboarding. And I already had a copy of this from when they reissued it a few years ago, but this is the original Bantam Contemporary Fiction Edition, so I had to get this. Which means I will get rid of the other one, which is sort of a net 0. And then I got The Dogs of Winter by Kem Nunn. I think I filmed a haul a while ago when I got Pomona Queen. I may have even done one the month I got Tapping the Source. That was quite a while ago. But anyway, Kem Nunn writes surfer noir, which, remember I said I read mysteries, but in really specific genres, and surfer noir is apparently one of the genres I really like, because I finally got around to reading Tapping the Source, which is his first book, a while ago, and I just loved it. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. It's like James Crumley on the West Coast. Just amazing, amazing book. And what's funny is, way, way, way back in the day, I got this, not having read Tapping the Source or any of his other work, and I think I tried to start it, didn't like it, and I wound up getting rid of it. But I'm eager to give it another chance now that I know I like his work. And then I got Epic, The State of the Art of Science Fiction Now, which Now, let's see what now means. Okay, in this case, now means 1975. I picked this up because it was co-edited by Robert Silverberg, who is a science fiction writer I really like. And there are a lot of interesting people in here. There's Jack Vance, Joanna Russ, Frederick Pohl, Clifford Seamack, Kate Wilhelm, Ward Moore, Brian Aldiss, Larry Niven, and on and on and on. So I kind of had to have that. Oh, there are a couple things in here I'm really excited about, and this is one of them. You're going to laugh, but it's Poems of Heaven and Hell from Ancient Mesopotamia. And I have just wanted this thing for so long because this is, as you can see, it's an older Penguin classic. And whenever I have the older Penguin classics, like some my mother passed down to me and just other ones I've found, they always have the list in the back of recently appeared. And this one is always there. And it seems so obscure. I'm like, of course I have to read this. So, excited about that. And, let's see. Bear with me. Okay, I've talked about Richard Stevenson before. He writes the Donald Strachey mystery series. And actually pretty rarely find books by him, but this week they had 3. Death Trick, which is the first one, Tongue-Tied, and Strachey's Folly. And I'm not really, honestly, sure how many of these I really am going to need to read in my lifetime, because I liked all the movies. I've seen, I think they did maybe 3 or 4, at least 4, movies with Chad Allen and Sebastian Spence. And I really liked those. They were fun. And I read Third Man Out already. And I liked it. It was an enjoyable book. I'm not sure I am really going to need to read the whole series, but they show up so infrequently that I was like, I might as well get it. And then I got You Bright and Risen Angels by William T. Vollmann. I have not really read much Vollmann. I read one of his short stories that I was quite taken by, and have always kind of meant to explore him a bit more. He has a reputation for being very out there. Then I got Pangs of Love, stories by David Wong Louis. And I basically just picked this up because it's Plume, and you all know I am obsessed with Plume that was published, with stuff Plume published in the 80s and early 90s, and why not? And then I got The Perfumed Garden of the Sheikh Nefzawi. This is basically sort of a Persian Kama Sutra. It's one of those books that Richard Burton translated back in the day. Enough about that. And I got Man Seeks God, My Flirtations with the Divine by Eric Weiner. This is just something I had seen around and was kind of interested in. And, I was really excited to find this. This is The City Not Long After by Pat Murphy. It's a science fiction novel published by Banter and Spectra back in their glory days. And this is just one of those books that, again, shows up on the checklists at the backs of other books, and that just sounded really interesting. And this is another huge get. This is Puffball by Faye Weldon. As I get more and more Faye Weldon books, there's still a good number that I need to get, but there are fewer that I need to get, and so it gets even more exciting when I find one I don't already have. And I'm especially excited for this one because I recently watched the film adaptation by Nicholas Roeg, who's one of my favorite directors, and it was really strange and wonderful, and I bet the novel is even more strange and wonderful. And by the way, if you're in Baltimore and you want a copy of Faye Weldon's Praxis, which I already have, there were like 6 of them at the book thing this week. I don't know what was going on. And then I got book 2 of The Rosy Crucifixion, Sexus by Henry Miller. I don't really know why I picked this up. I know I have a copy of either Nexus or Plexus, actually. Nexus. I don't know. I tried Tropic of Cancer once and was not very taken with it, but I don't know why I feel obligated. I may just get rid of this, but who knows. And then I got The Book of Good Love by Juan Ruiz. I had never heard of this before, but it's from Everyman's Paperback Classics, and I guess I should have heard of it. It's basically a medieval religious treatise, and I'm always up for those. And I got Etruscan Places by D.H. Lawrence. This is one of his trilogy of Italian travel writing, and basically anything D.H. Lawrence writes I will read. Oh, and this was cool. I got Rudin by Turgenev, and it's in Russian, and it has some annotations and things at the back, which is good because my Russian is not really all that strong. But I keep telling myself, I'll read in Russian, I'll read in Russian. Oh, and this is another really exciting one. This is by Hervé Bazin, and it is... Wait, is it Hervé Bazin? It's not. It's some fellow named René Bazin. It appears to be from 1929. Okay, I have no idea if this person is related to Hervé Bazin, who is one of my all-time favorite fairly contemporary French writers, who wrote La Tête contre les murs and Vipère au point, which is name-checked in a François Truffaut movie, I think Antoine Colette, I forget which one. So, okay, I now officially have no idea what this is. It's called Donatien, and I guess I'll take a look at it and see if it's worth hanging on to after all. See, this is what happens when I do these right when I come back from the book thing. It's always a surprise. And then last but not least, I got Splendeur de la Cour de Bourgogne, Récits et Chroniques. Basically a history source book that looks pretty serious, and I'm always up for serious history. And if you've made it this far, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me for my next video.